Hey guys, it's RockTheGolem. Now, most of you know me from my fan dubs, let's plays, and various projects I voice act in here on YouTube. But I'll bet most of you didn't know that I'm also involved in several larger projects as well. Well, most likely that's because I work under my real name for those projects instead of using my channel name here on YouTube. I've worked on everything from radio ads and podcasts, characters for audio dramas, indie games and original animated series, and even narrating audiobooks. Like Blade of the Destroyer, The Last Bucellari Volume 1. I spent months recording and producing this audiobook for author Andy Peliquin, and we're both excited to announce that it's now available for purchase on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. If you enjoy dark and gritty tales about assassins, hunters becoming the hunted, and mysterious haunting pasts, then I highly recommend purchasing this audiobook through Audible. Not only will it give you instant access to the audiobook, but if you're a new member and you choose Blade of the Destroyer as your first book purchase, it will go a long way to support me as a narrator. And speaking of support, why not check out my Patreon page and consider supporting me on there as well? Every little bit helps, and any support, no matter how small, is appreciated. But I don't expect you to just blindly support me without at least hearing a little bit of what it is that I have to offer. Take a listen to this brief sample of Blade of the Destroyer, The Last Bucellari Volume 1. And if you like what you hear, links to the book's Audible listing and my Patreon page will be waiting for you in the description below. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Having said all that, I will see you all on the other side. Take care. A chill hung in the night air, and sweat dripped down the nameless nobleman's back, soaking his thick tunic. He clenched his fists to still his shaking hands. His nondescript clothing blended with the rough crowd of the Blackfall district, and yet he felt eyes upon him, following his every step. He cast anxious glances around the darkened alleyway, searching for a sign of... what? My Darilana, why do I fear so? Perhaps it was the terror of the moonless night, or the instinctive fear dredged up at the thought of meeting the legendary Hunter of Voramis. He chided himself. Fuck me for a jumpy little princess. He would rather be somewhere else, anywhere else, but here. He had no desire to face the creature the mothers of Voramis used to threaten their children into behaving. His mother had used those legends to frighten him, and he had developed a healthy fear. Get it together. You have a job to do. Get in, get it done, and get the fiery hell out of there. The doors to the dilapidated tavern swung shut behind, but none of the handful of patrons at the tables paid him any heed. He slipped a pair of copper bits into the bartender's hand. Top of the stairs, door at the end of the hall. The portly pub landlord drawled as he made the coins disappear. The stairs creaked dangerously as the noble climbed, but he forced himself to place one foot in front of the other. The smell of mold filled his nostrils and threatened to make him sneeze. Swallowing hard, he stared at the door at the end of the darkened hall. It looked like something out of his nightmares, and it made his blood run cold. "Hello?" he called in a weak voice as he entered the room. He saw no one in the gloomy darkness, and breathed a sigh of relief as he closed the door behind him. Believing himself alone, the noble took deep, calming breaths. "What brings you to the underbelly of Voramis, little man?" The voice sounded far too close for the nobleman's liking. He leapt backwards, a feminine squeak bursting from his mouth. His back slammed against the door, knocking the breath from his lungs. "Fucking Hunter!" The nobleman struggled to regain his composure, trying to ignore the thick drops of sweat rolling down his face and coating his palms. "I have a commission for you, Hunter, sir," he managed to stutter. "Tell me more," the hunter said in a rough voice. He stepped forward, pulling back his hood. Scars crisscrossed the dark face, twisting his upper lip into a perpetual sneer. Heavy brows hooded his dark eyes, and his crooked nose had been broken and badly set. A scarlet ribbon bound his midnight black hair, which hung in long, greasy strands. "Bloody twisted hell! No wonder he hides himself! I would too if I looked like that!" The nobleman realized his mouth hung open, and snapped it shut. He belatedly tried to hide his revulsion at seeing the hunter's grim visage, but knew it had shone through. The dark figure with the horrible face waited in silence, clearly unaffected by the nobleman's disdain. "My, master," stuttered the shaken man, gulping as he spoke, "request your services in a matter of, delicate nature." The hunter raised an eyebrow. "Your master understands that delicate situations cost more?" "Of course, sir, Hunter. I have more than enough to cover any extras beyond your usual fees." The nobleman removed a leather purse from his cloak. His hand trembled as he passed it to the hunter, who balanced it in a burn-scarred hand. "Good. It will suffice." The purse disappeared into the hunter's cloak with a movement that caused the noble to jump. His cheeks burned with shame, and he saw mockery in the hunter's cold eyes. "You have the other item?" the hunter demanded. Of course," the noble stammered. He fished around in his robes for a moment before producing a handkerchief. His fingers brushed dangerously close to the hunter's hand as the assassin took the kerchief, and the aristocrat's skin crawled. "I hope it's enough," the noble whispered, the fear in his voice audible. "It was all my master could procure." The hunter's rough fingers traced the initials embroidered in one corner of the delicate cloth. G.D. "It will do," the hunter rasped.